There was a time when the earth breathed in silence, an epoch before humanity claimed it as home everywhere, untamed, wild, and ancient. This was the Cretaceous period, an age of giants, creatures so colossal they seemed sculpted by divine hands. The land teemed with life. Triceratops, armored titans, roamed in vast herds beneath a sun that knew no winter. In the skies, immense pterosaurs carved the air, leviathans, kings of the silent abyss. And upon the land, unchallenged, reigned the Tyrannosaurus rex. 2 tons of muscle, claw, and fang, driven by an instinct as old as the earth itself. It was a world perfect in its ferocity. Every creature held a place, every struggle a purpose. Herbivores grazed on the colossal ferns and conifers that carpeted entire continents. Carnivores hunted at dawn when the nascent light stained the dew-kissed blood. It was balance, it was power, it was life in its purest, most potent form. Yet even within this primal harmony, destiny was in motion. None of these magnificent beings could comprehend that each footstep, each breath, each fleeting glance would be the last of their world. Far above, in the cold, silent expanse of space, a change was unfolding. A fragment of rock, born from the violent collision of ancient celestial bodies, had begun a solitary journey, a voyage spanning millions of years, traversing the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Silent, unseen, inevitable. Meanwhile, the Earth, oblivious, continued its ceaseless rotation beneath an azure sky. Seasons drifted by with languid grace. Mountains rose and fell. Oceans shifted their vast beds. It was a planet alive, vibrant, yet profoundly vulnerable. In the immensity of the cosmos, a single speck of dust held the power to reshape everything. That speck was coming, and nothing could stop it. Beneath that same tranquil sky, the Earth throbbed with geological energy. Volcanoes erupted along fiery chains, spewing molten rock that forged new continents. Every tremor, every explosion was a breath from the planet's core. A world in constant flux, where life adapted, thrived, and multiplied. Across the great northern plains and in the sweeping valleys nestled against ancient mountains, herds of ankylosaurs moved with ponderous grace, their armored bodies glinting in the sun, living fortresses. Further south, flocks of hadrosaurs traversed the rivers, their calls echoing curious groups, while amongst the dense ferns, swifter predators lay in patient ambush. This was a realm of breathtaking power and intricate, fragile beauty, a testament to life's enduring tenacity. But the cosmic clock was ticking, and the Earth's reign of giants was drawing to a close, a stark reminder that even the mightiest empires are subject to the indifferent currents of the universe. The forests teemed with a vibrant, unprecedented flourishing of new plant species. Insects, the tireless couriers of life, carried pollen between blossoms, a dance as ancient as time. In the boundless sky, the rhythmic beats of wings echoed, a symphony of creatures yet untouched by fear. Among the verdant branches, primitive birds tentatively explored the miracle of flight. The microraptor, its iridescent canopy, transforming the forest floor into a mosaic of liquid light. Beneath the gnarled roots, minuscule mammals scurried in the shadows, their lives a testament to vigilance and wariness, yet unknowingly poised for a future they could not yet comprehend. It was a world alive with movement and sound, a ceaseless cycle of birth and decay, a delicate equilibrium, precariously suspended above an unseen abyss. Every element functioned in harmony, every organism thrived. This world, so seemingly perfect, could only be shattered by an apocalypse of unimaginable scale. Millions of kilometers away, an asteroid, a celestial drifter, entered Earth's cosmic neighborhood. Caught within its gravitational embrace, the colossal body accelerated, its trajectory soon surpassing the orbit of the Moon. The path ahead bent inexorably toward the atmosphere. As it plunged, the air before it compressed, igniting into a searing inferno. From the ground, it appeared as a searing, ever-brightening streak against the darkening sky. Mere moments remained before its violent entry into the planet's denser layers. Then, it became fire. A globe of pure incandescence, growing with every passing second, hurtling towards its target at over 70,000 kilometers per hour. A celestial body, 10 kilometers in diameter, yet possessing a force that dwarfed any weapon humanity would ever conceive. Its destination? The Yucatán Peninsula, in what is now Mexico. There, where the sea curves in a perfect arc, destiny was about to strike. Below, the dinosaurs lived out their final dawn, oblivious. No creature, not even a fleeting glance, could comprehend the cataclysm unfolding above. The sky began to bleed into unnatural hues. The songs of birds abruptly ceased. The world fell silent, as if the very earth held its breath. Then, light, a flash so blinding it eclipsed the sun itself, and a sound, a roar that defied comprehension, for it transcended the very concept of sound. Time itself seemed to halt. The asteroid tore through the final kilometers of atmosphere in less than a single breath. Its passage ignited the sky, turning day into 1,000 suns. And then, impact. The ocean erupted upwards, vaporizing in an instant. The force of the collision unleashed an energy equivalent to more than 100 megatons. The thousands of kilometers, nothing survived. A shockwave, a planetary death knell raced across the globe. The oceans themselves vanished, instantly incinerated. The very air became flame. From the point of impact, a wave of water more than a kilometer high was born. Shards of rock and metal were hurled to the farthest reaches of the planet. The resulting tsunamis, monstrous walls of water, surged across the oceans, obliterating coastlines thousands of kilometers away. The reign of the dinosaurs had ended, not with a whimper, but with a cosmic roar. The oceans heaved, then receded, stripping bare what little remained. The planet itself became a colossal scream. But this was no earthly tempest. From the heavens, fragments of light began to fall. These were the very rocks, ejected by the cataclysmic impact that had circled the globe, returning now as incandescent missiles. Thousands of falling stars illuminated a newborn darkness. Initially isolated glimmers, they coalesced into a relentless, ceaseless rain. Day and night blurred into a singular infernal inferno. After the impact, the Earth was irrevocably altered. The sun's light could no longer penetrate the shroud. The sky, once a canvas of azure, was now a gaping wound of smoke and flame. This rain of incandescent rock persisted for hours, then days. Each fragment that struck the ground ignited new fires, birthed fresh storms of fire. Forests vanished in a single searing breath. Oceans boiled, their surfaces erupting with steam. Animals sought refuge, but no sanctuary remained. The air itself was fire, the ground molten glass. Surface temperatures soared beyond 1,000 degrees Celsius. The entire planet transformed into a furnace, even the rocks. Flames raced across the horizon, fueled by the wind and the agony of existence. The largest dinosaurs succumbed, their immense forms collapsing, suffocated by the oppressive heat. Rivers evaporated into the superheated atmosphere. Clouds, once carriers of life-giving rain, were obliterated. Only the percussive roar of earthquakes accompanied the profound silence of utter destruction. The earth trembled incessantly, as if striving to shed the crushing weight of its immutable destiny. The impact crater, a scar of unimaginable scale, was submerged beneath the newly formed oceans. Yet the wound was etched, indelible, upon the planet's very soul. Shock waves, born of the collision, reverberated across the globe multiple times, bouncing between oceans and mountain ranges. Each pulse erased something vital: a forest, a lake, a single, fragile breath. Within hours, entire ecosystems, honed over millennia, ceased to exist. Daylight yielded to an impenetrable blackness, and into this void descended the ash. A fine dust, a spectral dance, settling upon everything. It coated the seas, the fallen bodies, the silent mountains, the wide, unseeing eyes of ancient giants. This was the dust of oblivion. Yet even as the world burned, something endured. Beneath the surface, within the earth, in the scant flow of subterranean rivers, in the safety of burrows, small lives persisted. Insects, amphibians, mammals. Forgotten creatures, overlooked by the dominant life forms, clung to existence in the mud, within decaying logs, in the crevices of fractured rock. And in that profound darkness, the seeds of a new future began to germinate. The dust, lofted by the impact, dispersed through the atmosphere, lingering for months, then years. It choked the sun's vital light. Day and night dissolved, their distinctions rendered meaningless. The entire world plunged into an eternal twilight. Temperatures plummeted. The planet's internal warmth dissipated into the cold vacuum of space. The wind carried with it ash, sulfur, the very essence of death. Photosynthesis, the fundamental engine of life, ground to a halt. The plant kingdom, starved of light, began to wither and die one by one. In the face of such overwhelming annihilation, life's tenacity revealed itself not in grand displays, but in the quiet, tenacious refusal to surrender. The smallest spark, hidden from the inferno, held the promise of a dawn unseen. The herbivores found nothing left to consume. And as they perished, so too did their predators. Tyrannosaurus rex, once the undisputed sovereign of these lands, now stalked through charred forests, a phantom hunting for sustenance that no longer existed. Triceratops, once majestic herds moving in unison, now stood solitary, their immense bodies heavy with weariness. Hunger gnawed at their insides, and the encroaching cold bent their mighty frames. The earth had become a frozen tomb. Beneath the waves, the vital algae vanished. The intricate food webs that sustained oceanic life collapsed. Even the ancient leviathans of the deep disappeared, suffocated by a liquid silence. And so, one by one, the giants faded. Not in a single cataclysmic instant, but over a slow, implacable span of time. Each species left behind a final footprint, a last, desperate breath, a fleeting, unseeing gaze. The world, once teeming with vibrant life, now exhaled only ash. Yet beneath that somber gray blanket, something still stirred. Deep within the darkness, the first, tentative heartbeat of the future began to pulse. Years bled into decades. The settling dust began to yield. The sun, a pale ghost, once again filtered through the lingering clouds of death. The great ice sheets, which had gripped the land in a frigid embrace, began to recede. Above a now silent world, the first light of a new dawn broke. A world without dinosaurs. A world poised for a hesitant rebirth. At first, there was only stillness. Then, a whisper. A gentle breeze stirred across the desolate played earth. The first drops of rain washed over the blackened soil, seeping into the cracks, awakening seeds long forgotten in the deep. And those seeds, defying all odds, germinated. Life returned, slowly, shyly, with a fragile tenacity. Mosses clung to ancient rocks, ferns unfurled amidst the skeletal remains of burnt trees, and small, brave flowers opened their petals to an unfamiliar light. The earth began to breathe again. Insects reappeared first, a skittering mammals that had waited patiently in the darkness. Those who had once lived in the shadows now emerged to claim the open plains. Where colossal forms had once thundered, now moved creatures of lightness, of agility, of silence. The world had been irrevocably altered. The age of reptiles was over. The age of mammals had begun. The oppressive darkness dissolved, light flooded the sky, as if time itself had resumed its natural rhythm. The planet, scarred yet transformed, began its slow process of healing. Mountains continued their ancient ascent, oceans shifted their vast base new. Life was a more subtle, more resilient thing than it had been before. It was new, different, more vulnerable, but also imbued with a greater intelligence, a more profound adaptability. The Earth had not forgotten what had transpired. It carried the memory within its very bones, preserved in fossils, in the silent strata of millions of years. As we tread upon the ancient mountains, we tread upon the very stones that witnessed a cataclysm. Each fragment of rock, a silent testament to a day when the earth itself seemed to pause, frozen in the face of an unimaginable force. The extinction of the dinosaurs was not merely an ending, it was the spark that ignited the dawn of a new epoch. From that profound devastation, the seeds of our own story were sown. Millions of years later, amidst the same transformed landscapes, the first sentient beings would emerge. Creatures capable of gazing at the heavens, not just with wonder, but with inquiry, questioning their origins. Beings imbued with the capacity for memory, for creation, for the boundless realm of dreams. Us. The Chicxulub impact did not extinguish life. It fundamentally reshaped it. In that singular, devastating second, a new temporal current began to flow. Perhaps one day our own civilization will meet its end. The skies may darken once more, the oceans will shift their boundaries, and the stars themselves will burn out. Yet life, in its indomitable spirit, will invariably find a way. For life does not surrender. It adapts, it transforms, it perseveres. And so the time that once stood still has continued its relentless march, carrying us to this very moment. It was not the cessation of existence, but the genesis of our kind. The memory of this world, the echoes of its past, are not to be forgot this, a chance to resonate anew.